righty, ladies and gentlemen, and all humans that identify as whatever the heck you are in between, in the grand spectrum of humanity, you have reached the geeky chill stream that you've been looking for. That's right. It is the Comics Talk with Reverend Sully. Thank you so much for tuning in today. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we are here. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa, whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today. And thank you. We have bunches and bunches of new comic books to talk about. We do. I've got lots of them. Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different DC comic books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 different Marvel comic books I might have read. And then there's a bunch of Image comics that I got to this week as well. I am just blessed and grateful that I had a deep pirate April Fresh. It's spring cleaning. The boys had their bath today. Yeah, I threw them in the washer machine and extra, dryer sheets. I love the smell of extra dryer sheets. I really do. And we got Lane Kramer out there in the audience today. Hello. Incel Mania running wild. Nah, that's just for weekday. That's for the morning show. Right now, we're going to concentrate on comic books. That's right, here at your dojo for the tactical and practical spirituality you need to get through life. That's right. That's why I do the MGTOW morning show. It's cleverly called Incel Cast. I think I'm changing that to Pimp Cast soon. Once the incel cycle runs through, eventually we're going to have a heel turn and turn from an incel into a pimp. Think about it. But I keep you guessing. But it's all about spirituality and purpose and gratitude when it comes down to it. So thank you so much. Good to see you out there, James. How are you? Huzzah! That's right. Like, share, and subscribe. Lane was here early. Let some really nice words for us. Can't wait for Reverend Sully this afternoon. I am actually caught up on Nightwing. I was 7 issues behind and now caught up through 112. It was a fun, if not a little silly ride to catch up with. Yeah, kind of like the pirate stuff too. We'll get to Nightwing 112, of which I got some good things to say. Lane also read Vengeance and Moon Knight number 3. And maybe it's because I had not read 30 previous issues of Moon Knight, but I am really enjoying this so far. We'll read it at least through the end of Blood Hunt. Cool. I too will have a positive spin on Vengeance of Moon Knight number 3, written by Jed McKay. And hello from Berkeley, California. It's the owner and proprietor of Fantastic Comics himself, Yul Carter. Hello there, buddy. Good to see you. Lane Kramer has a question for the show. Hey, Eric, a question for you. Are you familiar with who Helverine is from Marvel? Well, Helverine was part of the Ghost Rider Wolverine crossover, and they put some of the spirit of Ghost Rider into Logan, and he burst into flames. So, but it was it was a killer design. If you're into that, I mean, for me, my mind immediately goes back to Hot Claws. Hot Claws. I mean, maybe you don't know Hot Claws. Have you memory hold Logan's Hot Claws? Does Wolverine still have his Hot Claws, or is that just? Remember when Wolverine was dead, covered in adamantium? Oh, man. Yeah. And when he came back, he had a secondary mutation, something called Hot Claws. Like his claws were able to get like wicked hot. This is the live stream. It is true. You have reached the comic book shop style conversation you've been craving. This is the geeky chill stream you've been looking for. Yeah, sometimes it gets a little heated, of course. But guess what? We try to keep it respectful, and we try to keep it positive. And there's just so much infighting and outrage and push and pull, and there's just like it's like the balkanization of the fellowship going on, you know. And it's kind of you know, it's not how I want to chill out. I want to chill out when I get home from work, when I get back from a long week at work. I just want to relax. I don't want to really get into a sphere where I'm going to get wound up. So I get into it more on Wednesday. Like, we'll talk about that Wednesday. We're going to spend half the show talking about, I'll talk about Eric July, and I'll talk about Ethan Van Sciver, and I'll talk about FNT, and I'll talk about all these, like, you know, this balkanization of our fellowship, you know. So tune in for that on Wednesday at 4 p.m. on New Release Day, when we preview next week's new releases. But now let us enter the realm of feedback and critiquing. I read a bunch of Marvel comic books this week. I read a bunch of DC comic books this week. And I also went to my local comic book shop. And what's in the bag? What's in the bag? I got 9 funny books in here. I spent about under $38. And that's with my 10% discount of having a pull list now. I'm trying not to sound too excited about it. But, you know, the staff really are enthused because they're like, oh, my gosh, you're fully vested in the in the store. And it's like, fuckers, I've been coming here for the better part of 2 decades. Yes! Fuckers, I don't mean it like that. I got a bad mouth. I come from the projects at South Boston, you know. Yeah, Helverine has some kind of, there's going to be another Helverine mini coming out soon. So, I mean, yeah, why not? I have no idea. But I did see that. I saw that as well. Yeah. I think it was Ben Percy himself might have been pimping that on Twitter. We have X-Men Forever #1, which is Kieran Gillen. And it's kind of like filling in the blanks of okay, in Fall of the House of X, we have Charles Xavier. He has a captive Essex, but it's the female version called Mother Righteous. There's also Cypher is with him, Doug Ramsey. Also, Rachel Summers, also known as Prestige, also known as Ascani, also known as Phoenix. Is Moira there yet? No, I don't think Moira's there. And Rasputin 4 is there. And they're in some kind of no ship that exists outside of space-time and all the different Moira timelines and her accumulated mutant power. And also what Sinister did with Moira's skill set. It's convoluted as all hell. And I mean, this yeah, you know, should I read from the info dump page? Should I read? I will. I shall. At the Hellfire Gala, everything changed for Krakoa and mutant kind. The anti-mutant organization Orcus struck hard and fast. When the dust settled, most of the population of Krakoa was trapped in another dimension known as the White Hot Room, a place outside of conventional space and time. All right, so there you go. What happened to the X-Men? What was going on in Immortal X-Men? You know, and so they see, yeah. So it's like, you know, this is actually a really good, like, oh, I'm getting a, you know, this is all info dump. in order for you to be able to realize, what's going on. We started off the Fall of the House of X #1 in medias res, in the middle of the action. So this is the catch-up of that. And actually, that's Rise of the Powers of 10. Fall of the House of X, that's Jerry Duggan's beast. And that's got, I'm actually pretty much liking that. But the Rise of the Powers of 10 by Kieran Gillen, this is Gillen, doing his job as one of the bullpen writers. So a few of the members of the former Quiet Council of Krakoa, Hope, Exodus, and Destiny, did what they could to lead this band of mutant refugees. While they struggled to survive, they met up with Mother Righteous, who claimed to be one of them, but secretly had manipulated the situation to get them there so she could harvest the power of Jean Grey's connection to the Phoenix to become a godlike capital D Dominion. She failed, however, because she herself was a pawn of the original Nathaniel Essex, who had made her and 3 other clones, whose successes he could harvest to become the Dominion. Enigma. That's right. Meanwhile, on Earth, Charles Xavier, correctly blaming himself for the missing mutants, but believing them dead, discovered that another of Essex's clones, Mr. Sinister, was living inside his mind. Hey, Phil the Kill, how you doing? I'm doing a dramatic reading of the info bump page from X-Men Forever #1. Please, I don't need any medical assistance. I'm okay. I'm hamming this up, having a good time, and hopefully you are too. Together, they discovered Enigma's plans and began to work together. But now, as the powers of X rise, even while the House of X falls, as the powers of 10 rise, even while the House of X falls, Xavier himself has a team outside of space and time, working to thwart Enigma, consisting of Sinister, disguised as Doug Ramsey Cypher, Mother Righteous, Ascani, and Rasputin IV, or Rasputin 4. But exactly how Xavier formed his new plans and put this group together has remained a mystery. Until now. All right, there we go. That's the info dump page, and we have, it's Destiny, Mystique, Mr. Sinister, Mother Righteous, Hope, and Exodus. And they are the dramatis personae of Kieran Gillen's X-Men Forever #1, which was kind of I don't know. I mean, it's just these X-Men titles are a mess. I mean, which ones am I enjoying? I'm enjoying the Jerry Duggan ones. X-Men, the Invincible Iron Man, and his contributions, such as Uncanny Avengers, that many. That was actually kind of fun. Also, he's doing Fall of the House of X. And and it's all going to this end game that we've already seen the solicits for all the new issues #1. So it kind of takes any tension out of this, I feel. So, that's spoiler culture, though. Let's see. Lane Kramer has a comment here. Let's see. So am I a bad person for basically bribing Wes to have Aaron Sparrow review The Acolyte with him? I have everything. April 1st will be joining the Patreon $20 level to bribe them with a big grin and the tongue. It's like that. That's what I believe that to be, right? That's the AC emoji. We have Web of Spider-Man #1, which ends up being just like a $7.99. It's 55 pages. $7.99, and it's, I don't know if it's an ongoing, but it appears to be just preview stuff, just of upcoming stuff. Like, my favorite part of it was just the few pages of Amazing Spider-Man with John Romita Jr. art, and I can't get enough. The Ramita art really, in my opinion, elevates Zeb Wells's, which would have been otherwise mediocre story. I feel that Ramita brings that to Amazing Spider-Man. He's been drawing Amazing Spider-Man for over 40 years. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's right. Wolverine Madripoor Nights #2. It's interesting. Written by Chris Claremont. Decent art by Edgar Salazar. The letters are done by VC's Corey Pettit. But I was like, Tom Orzechowski needs to be doing the lettering on this. That would just make it so mad, And then I figured, we're going to talk about it too. Because I'm asking, like, where is Tom Orzechowski? Where's he plying his trade these days? In this now, in the days of digital, where lettering is not hand, more than oft, it's not hand hewn anymore. But we have Wolverine Madripoor Nights. The editor's note: this story takes place shortly after Uncanny X-Men number 268. That's great. And it's okay. It's not. I mean, just like this, the art in it is just so flat, and all of these flat fight scenes. But the last 2 pages are really nice because they have just old friends taking care of each other in the middle of this adventure. They have a breather. So you have Cap, Logan, and Natasha, and they're all in a cave. To be licking their wounds. In a way, and sharing a meal, and they're all old friends though. I like that. They really are. They go way back. I'm pretty sure, but Natasha Romanoff's history, she as Black Widow in the Red Room, she goes back to World War II or so, right? She's known Bucky for literally decades or something. Isn't she like the female version of Nick Fury? Like Nick Fury took that kept his youth and vigor with some kind of, because he had some kind of super serum. There's comic books. They all have these stories. Moon Knight #3, Vengeance of Moon Knight #3, written by Jed McKay. With art by Cappuccio. And it's probably my best issue. We'll see you soon, Lane. Come back when you can. Moon Knight. This issue of Vengeance of Moon Knight was pretty good. Alessandro Cappuccio, color artist Rochelle Rosenberg. Mark Spector, a.k.a. Moon Knight, sacrificed himself to save Manhattan from the villainous Black Spectre. In his absence, his friends have taken it upon themselves to keep his midnight mission, running. Working for Moon Knight's living brownstone, former vampire assistant Reese, fellow fist of Khonshu, Hunter's Moon, reformed criminal 8-Ball, Spectre's former teammate Tigra, and ex-mercenary Soldier quickly found themselves impeded by the interference of a mysterious new Moon Knight, now clad in black. The group's joy at Moon Knight's miraculous resurrection waned quickly as he attacked them and attempted to claim the midnight mission by force. The group repelled the imposter Moon Knight, but not before he vowed to kill them if they interfered with his work. Pika! Where's my inhaler? I'm fine, no, don't worry. But yeah, this is the first issue of it that I really felt like I enjoyed it. It hit on all cylinders. It was easy to get into because it was a bit more expository than previous issues where, like, now I know who's who on this big team that I don't... the only person I really know is Tigra because she was one of the Avengers. and like, who are the vampire assistants? Now you get 2 vampires, Hunter's Moon, and yeah, I mean, yeah, but the art's okay, but it was decent. This was a really interesting, decent. It was hot chocolate went down the wrong pipe, went down the wrong tube. Don't worry, I'm fine. Canadian Bear here, and it's just we're doing well. Thank you, though. Spider-Woman number 5. This is an ongoing by Stephen Fox. Is it Stephen Fox? Steve Fox. It's actually got really good art, and because it's got Corolla Borelli is doing the art, and it's like I think Jessica Drew's got a bust and a booty, which is great because that's very consistent with her character. She's beautiful, you know what I mean? And they got Carol Danvers in there because Carol and Jessica are like best friends, and they're not shipping, but I mean they're just basically just girlfriends, And then into her life drops the new Spider-Boy, Dan Slott Spider-Boy, which also issue 5 of that came out this Bailey Briggs, the Spider-Boy, and he's been erased from history, so no one remembers him or his arch villains. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it's AL. Hi. Hey, Bendito Bane, my buddy, how you doing? Just dropping by to say hi. You're going to be busy because he's doing a video of SBI, that's Sweet Baby Incorporated, I believe, and that is the video game hubbub about hiring narrative consultants whose sole job is to just say, no, change this, change that, change this. Everything has to be more academic postmodern, or else, isn't that what Mary Jane Watson and Black Cat are supposed to be? Yeah, huh? They're going to be shipping soon. They're getting their own magazine next week. I think it's called Jackpot and Black Cat #1. And I want to see Peter go forward. I want him to ask out that, go on another date with that lawyer. You know what I mean? I like that. But Spider-Woman 5 wasn't that bad. It was much better than a few other things out here. We'll get to them in their due course. We have 4 Star Wars comic books this week. Awesome. Make sure you wave to the monkeys for me, please. I don't know. And we have 4 Star Wars books this week. Yeah, we got Star Wars Visions. We'll put a pin in that. It might be in the back. Spoilers. We got Star Wars Thrawn Alliances part 3 of how many? Probably 5. I'm not sure. My least favorite of this series so far. I mean, it's like a ping pong ball. Just the way like the story shifts from now to then, the now to then, the now to then. The parallel stories of this the duo of Anakin Skywalker and Thrawn in the Clone Wars, and then this Grand Admiral Thrawn Darth Vader team up and their parallel lives. And it's the story's good though. I mean, it'll end strong, and it's based upon Timothy Zahn book anyway. So I mean, it's just adapted stuff. It was Star Wars Jango Fett 1, this is a mini. Let's see, written by Ethan Sachs. Luke Ross is the art. Luke, the art in this is actually the line art is pretty good. You know, it just comes down to like, you know, all the digital stuff that they put on top of that, like, you know, onomatopoeia, blur effects, and just like the, you know, it just has that digital flavor. It can't escape it because it is what it is, huh? But, you know, I'm glad I'm reading it, you know, and I like Jango Fett as a character, and let's see where this goes. It's only in issue 1, so it's part 1 of an arc. So this is written for the trade. So there's only so much, you know, the opening of Act 1 and this issue 1 can do, you know. There is also Star Wars: The High Republic Phase 3, issue number 5. Now, apparently this is only going 10 issues, and it also, because it includes the 4-issue mini, The Shadows of Starlight, on its checklist. So this is, the checklist at the end of the book only lists up until issue number 10. And so we're halfway through the series, I guess. And of this, like this season, it's called Phase 3. So it's okay. It's just decent Star Wars storytelling. I mean, there's no more talk about Geode the Flying Rock or about Keith Trevis's, you know, side head shave, which is like this it's like all this coding stuff. Did I get a new brown bag? I was wondering how many uses I could I mean, that last one I had at the pub, and it had oil stains from like, or from my beer, or from my chicken wings or something, you know. And you know, you got to keep your fingers clean while you're reading your books too at the bar. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of these. So I always keep one in my bag, in my knapsack, and like 1 or 2 of them. But Star Wars: High Republic Phase 3 has been a decent book. I'm looking forward to the return of the Eye of the Storm of the Neil. It was a great bad guy that he set up, so this is gonna be really good. Spider Boy by Dan Huslot, and number 5, and it's art by Paco Medina, and 1, and Julian Shaw, and the other is usually split between 2 interrelated chapters with different artists. Shall I read to you? Who is Spider Boy? Spider Boy is a brand new character made by Dan Huslot and Humberto Ramos. Those are the co-creator credits, I believe. Bailey Briggs was just a normal kid before Madame Monstrosity turned him into one of her experiments. She spliced his DNA with a spider, giving him spider strength, spider speed, the ability to climb walls, and a spider sense that warns him when other people are about to be in danger. And it doesn't let up until he helps them. So annoying. He spent years as Spider-Man's sidekick before he was erased from the web of life. Now no one remembers him, not even Spider-Man. When he returned, his mom was missing, so now he lives at the FEAST Center. Sometimes he wishes he could be just a kid, but he must find a way to survive and rebuild his reputation as Spider-Boy. Previously, Spider-Man discovered Spider-Boy's secret, his ability to speak to spiders when he's in monster form. After a distrusting Spidey benches him, Bailey monsters out during a nightmare, shocking Christina. Now a new spider who looks a lot like Bailey is causing havoc, leading Spidey to ask Bailey if this is another secret he's keeping. Kinda. So yeah, and Bailey is like always he's always wanting, and he's always wanting to use his powers to benefit himself too, like, because he's literally homeless, he's literally hungry. His Maslow's hierarchy of needs isn't quite met, even with a support system he has. He's basically a homeless, orphaned child, and with the wait a second. I got Bandito Bane, who's he's like the big, amazing Spider-Man person in the house. Was Sully, that lawyer girl that going to ship Peter, is just a copy and paste of Peter's last girlfriend from Red-Headed Stranger arc. Cool. Yeah, and Bandito Bane, he wants to see Pete and MJ back together, and Paul as the new Green Goblin. I think Paul Rabin's gonna just be like the next. He's just gonna it's like the thing of hiding things in plain sight, and I think Paul Rabin is the next is the big bad, and that's like Zeb Wells's end game. He's been hiding the big bad in plain sight. Something's gonna happen. They've already taken away the kids. Every time we see Paul and MJ together, they're always in and out of couples therapy. It's always like this backdrop. You know what I mean? So they're not a happy couple. Really. I mean, and it just begs the question, why are they together? Now, MJ doesn't have to be with Peter, but does she have to really be in some kind of loveless, stressful, trauma-based, survival-based relationship that's outlived its survival-based thing? I don't know. I don't have answers. All I have are questions and a hunger to read stories. But yeah, Spider-Boy number 5 was decent. It was, give credit where credit is due. I'm not going to buy it because Dan Slott's blocked me on Twitter. Sorry, Dan Slott. I'm not buying your shit. But you know what? I will give you credit where credit is due. You've been a Spider-Man scribe for over 20 years. And you know what? Sometimes you just you get base hits and you get doubles and you're in scoring position. It's a baseball allegory. but really, there was Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver number 2 by Steve Orlando. And it's just this is, it's like Steve Orlando is doing the Wanda minis, and I don't know. It's just not made for me. It's great because I read the Marvel Team Up 2099s. It was Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man 2029. It was 1 through 5, and Steve Orlando wrote all 5 of those, and he did a really decent job, in my humble opinion. So it's good to know that he's got these traditional superhero stories in him somewhere, but these are the boutique characters that he's been given to hit the niche market that we're trying to sell Steve Orlando stories to Steve Orlando fans. How many thousands of them are out there? I don't know. I would love to see a return back to real numbers. There was a resurrection of Magneto number 3, Fall of the House of X trade dress, written by Al Ewing. It's Storm having to go through the underground, the undergloom to get the soul of Magneto back, and to resurrect him because they need Magneto in this final end game of the Krakoan age. So if you were fans of X-Men Red and the Araco stuff, this is the logical next step for you. It's kind of like Immortal X-Men by Kieran Gillen. Well, the next step for you would be to go to X-Men Forever, because that's where that story went. That and the rise of the Powers of 10 as well. Keep the Gillen stuff is Gillen stuff. The Duggan stuff is the Duggan stuff. I am after this I make supper and then I go to bed. I can only but thank you though. But also if people hit up Bandito Bane, and he's building his channel. He's we did his first live stream as me and Wakazashi's Tea House, Grey Cope, and myself and Bentito Bane had a really nice time talking about Akira Toriyama when he passed away. And but yeah, so yeah, this is just a lot of talking, and Shadow King has never been, is far from my favorite X-Men villain. I got this, like, my eyes glaze over, and I got bored with anything with Shadow King. I know he's like this go-to X-Men fiend, but I mean, it's always a miss for me. And so this Night Thrasher number 2, sure, that happened. Invincible Iron Man number 16. So this is Jerry Duggan's part of the Fall of the House of X, the Invincible Iron Man number 16, the new Mark 72 armor made with the mutant metal Mysterium. And it was designed by Pip Larraz. I love this. I will share this, actually. I'll share that. Oops. Present. Here we go. Yeah, I love this armor. That is that's the new Mark 72. And this is actually an impressive issue too. Every page is a splash page. It's just like 1, 2, like just fight scene. This is the culmination of all 16 issues. This is Tony versus Fei Long for the, and just Stark Sentinels versus Iron Man. And I've enjoyed this, and I just think that, like, with all the Stark Sentinels all having the same color as Iron Man, and this, it just kind of it's all red and gold, and well, Fei Long has a War Machine looking one, so that's gray and black, but and Tony's Mark 72 is just a little different, but it's just all the same kind of. It looks like a toy box full of the same action figure. Yeah. Let's see, and if it makes me feel any better, yeah, Phil the Kill is sound asleep in bed when I'm waiting for the bus, but I'm getting things done before PU get up. Yeah, I haven't. I did. I was only so much I'll put on the screen when it comes to the pirate stuff. I'm just it was Fantastic Four number 18. Do I even remember this? I just blew through this thing, man. This title is so hit or miss. It really is. This is Ryan North's Fantastic Four. I've enjoyed a few of these issues, but overall, yeah, kind of a miss. Captain Marvel 6 by fuck you, Alyssa Wong. Yep, and if this was good, I would give you I would be very I'd be glad to say nice things about one of your books. I mean, there's nothing good. Oh man, this is just boring. It's boring. And I hope whomever this is made for is buying the hell out of it. Black Panther number 10, closing out this Black Panther story by Eve Ewing. It's the finale, and I guess this is the last issue of Black Panther until after Blood Hunt, and that's done. Yeah. Blade issue number 9. I think there's probably one more. Same thing with this. There's probably one more issue of Blade left, and then that goes into Blood Hunt as well. Yeah, to be concluded, issue 10. So yeah, Blade was fine. And then the last Marvel comic we had this week was Beware the Planet of the Apes by Mark Guggenheim. And this is set on the Charlton Heston Earth. And I like that because it's got Cornelius and Zira and Nova and all these familiar characters, you know. Let's see. Let's go to the DC comics that we read this week. Wonder Woman #7. Gosh, that was so boring. Wow. It's just, I know it's trying to be lighthearted because it's one of these light moments to break up the gravity of everything else. And it's Superman and Wonder Woman going to some intergalactic mall to get Batman a birthday present. It's all it is. I mean, are there malls left in the world? I mean, do people go to malls? I don't know. I haven't been to a mall in ages, literally years. I can't tell you the last time I went to a mall. There's Titans issue #9. Yeah, it's pretty boring. Superman versus Meishi 19, always fun. It's just this is great use of the character and of just the manga style, and it's fun. It's just fun. It's lighthearted, and I can unwind with Superman versus Meishi and know what to expect. It's just food and Superman and just good stuff. Speaking of Superman, we got Superman #12. Well, let's take a pin in that. Nightwing #112. Great cover by Bruno Redondo, as always. His style is like this overuse of the screen tone filters, sure. Yeah. And but it's a Batman and Robin kind of issue. It's a Batman and Nightwing issue where we have flashbacks to Batman and Robin, and I like this. This has been my favorite issue of Nightwing so far. Yeah, I got no problems with this issue. It was pretty good. Justice Society of America #9. Counting down until the final issue. I think it's one more issue to be sure. What is the fate of Justice Society of America? This is written by Jeff Johns, art by Michael Janin. I was buying this for the first couple of issues, and I put it down. I wasn't feeling it, and so this might be ending at issue 10, and that will be Jeff Johns' final DC Universe book. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome. And yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Justice Society of America fan too, and it's like, and they're really doing one thing I like about Jeff Johns and his work as on Justice Society of America as a body from say like 1999 until now. I mean, is the generational aspect of mentors and mentees, of older heroes having an impact on two generations of heroes underneath them. You know, the adult heroes and the kid sidekicks. Actually, that was one of the best parts for me. Did you miss Black Adam with The Rock? You know, the DC movie. Like, you know, I saw it. I saw that with The Fellowship. And 12 issues on JSA according to the distributor. Thank you, Yule. And I wonder if they are all done by Jeff Johns. And I wonder if this will continue after him. And would Jeremy Adams be the best person, or Robert Venditti? You know, if it's Tim Sheridan, you, I'm not reading any of your shit. I'll read it if it's free. But yeah, I really like the generational stuff. I really like that Jeff Johns has just been fruitful and he multiplies. He just made up a whole generation of young heroes, and they all have derivative costumes and code names of the Golden Age JSAers. I just, it's really cool and it's fun, and I should be there for it more. I really should, but yeah, I put it down. Yeah, I did. It happens. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, number 7. It's okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, they think Guy Gardner got killed. But apparently, no, this is in continuity, and this is set in the past, in some kind of like Super Friends heyday. But which is interesting because I saw some on. I follow this great account called the Spinner Rack on Twitter, and like this date in history in like say 1979. This week, they had Godzilla, and it was Godzilla in the Avengers, the Marvel Avengers. But it's the same Toho Godzilla. I wonder if Godzilla and his, could that be the fulcrum of the next Marvel DC crossover? Who knows? I don't know. I'm just kidding. But it's fun. The art's decent, and it's just this is going to collect very nicely. It will. John Constantine Hellblazer, Dead in America. Let's put a pin in that. We got Green Lantern War Journal, number 7. My least favorite Philip Kennedy Johnson book. Not really. I can respect the hell out of Montas's line work, but then it's just all the garish coloring. I'm not into. Yeah, it's just Green Lantern. Yeah, War Journal. Yeah, dealing with the new status quo. Yeah, I'm just not getting it. Yeah. Catwoman 63 by Teenie Howard and Company. I've been liking the 9 Lives story. This is part 5 of 9 Lives. I love seeing Selena in purple. I mean, I know Teenie Howard has is much maligned, but when you're able to just do the job, you're doing the job. I mean, it's fine. And it's good to see that she's got a traditional, typical superhero story in her. And I like this Catwoman. And I know that it's like, she's also doing Harley Quinn too, which is kind of like it reminds me of a Blink 182 song. Like, she's a fucking nightmare. You know what I mean? It's just, girls are such a drag. He's a fucking weasel. Hey, what are you doing? I gotta reattach him somehow. He's just holding on by his hand right now. We got Batman 89 Echoes, which is set in the Tim Burton verse. I don't know. It's Batman 89 and the Tim Burton kind of, style, and in that Gotham. We have Batman Superman World's Finest 25. Big miss for me. Yeah. I'm getting a copy of this though. Yeah. I mean, Yule has a copy of the William Shatner variant cover, and I'm a huge William Shatner fan. I really am. He's got me covered. I'm really happy. Thank you, Yule. We'll figure out a couple of more to throw on this stack and get that going. And the ape real special number 1, which is this apes and the monkeys and of DC Comics. And I looked, I opened it and I closed it. I didn't want to read it. I'm sorry. So sorry. Yes. What else did we read this week? We got a couple of other. I read 2000 AD, a program $23.74. And this is like the big British comic book. Judge Dredd, Indigo Prime, Full Tilt Boogie, Follow the Dead World, Thistlebone. I mean, these are, so it's got 5 it's got 5 stories, so it's an anthology. And I mean, 2000 AD is like, that is like one of the most, this is a premier British comic book. Every British kid knows this one, and the Beano. I've got some of it. Yeah, I got Mr. Tambourine Man. Mr. Tambourine Man? For only for my boot heels to be wandering. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man. So I'm a rocket man. I also got the if you get the Ben Folds 5, and especially the Ben Folds' side project called Fear of Pop. Yeah, this is some good stuff. One of the best Shatner songs is on there. But you'll never know me. Oh, that's a beautiful song. But yeah, I mean, 2000 AD, that was a real trip. That was fun to read and to experience. And because I've never really, not since I was a kid, and we had Tower Records, and Tower Records had an international comic section that had French comics like Mobius, Jean Girard, and Italian stuff like Milo Manara, and British stuff like 2000 AD, Death's Head, Action Force, and Transformers UK, stuff like this. And it's just really cool to see. Oh, by the way, guys, yeah, we broke 1,400 subscribers today. Wicked proud about that. I'm wicked excited. The more the merrier, and couldn't have done it without you guys. Seriously. Yeah, 1,400. It's just that's just so. 1,403 currently. A lot of it had to do with the Incel cast and the MGTOW morning show. MGTOW, men going their own way. Which is interesting. Yeah, we got like almost 80 subscribers alone in the 2 weeks that we've been doing that. That's great. And I think like hopefully this is going to be the push that put us over 4,000 hours, which we're only 250 hours away from the 4,000 hour threshold, where I can apply to be a partner, and that was my goal. You know what I mean? I don't know, like, monetization's great and everything, but it's like it was the goal to do it, to get to those, to get there. And I'm so thankful and blessed and grateful. Thank you, everyone out there. This is like, you are the most important, ingredient in this recipe. Seriously. I read some Image comics this week. All right. I read Spawn 351. Put a pin in that. I mean, we'll get back to that a little later. I read The Infernals #2. What was it was interesting because Hassan Osmati Allahu is doing the lettering. He's like the hot hand these days. You see his name everywhere. Well, one place I don't think I've ever seen a letterer on the cover. Sure. Okay. I'll hello. Share the screen. There we go. But yeah, I mean, Osmani Allahu is on the cover of the Infernals #2, but it got the lettering in this is actually quite magnificent, quite unique, and this is very much like old Vertigo. That looks like old Vertigo to me. I did the Bloody Dozen #4. I'm walking into most of these Image comics cold. without like knowing much about them. I mean, one thing I'm finding in these image books and in the Dark Horse books that they got really killer design, like the indicia page, the credits page. I mean, the formatting, the design of, it's alive and well. How to compose magazine pages, and I always think they do such a really interesting job. I think so, stuff like that, like table of content stuff, just I find that stuff fascinating in publication and periodicals. I'm weird like that, but Bloody doesn't though. It's like Old West vampires in outer space and sci-fi, and so it's interesting. It's like an old horror comic book from the early Silver Age. What else did I read? I read Dutch number 2 by Joe Casey. Interesting stuff. It's just not my cup of tea. And I'm on the hunt to get the Eric Canetti variant cover of that. So I will see what's going on in my neighborhood. And we're with my local comic book shops. What is going on with my local comic book shops? Well, I'll tell you this much. Some sad news. What's going on with one of my local comic book shops that I've been meaning to drop by because they're I like doing little videos of me in front of the 8 different comic book shops. Well, I usually say that there are 8 comic book shops within striking distance of my fortress of solitude. And then I like to joke and say, actually, it's 9 because I also buy comics from Yule Carter of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. And I like to say that if you don't have a local comic book shop within striking distance of your headquarters, you could be your very own mailbox away from your very own local comic book shop. Hit up Yule Carter at Fantastic Comics. His deets are in the description of the show. This is not a paid advertisement. He's my friend, and I shop with him. And so yeah, if you're looking for something, talk to Yule. Seriously. And he is one of my, and I just like it because he's all the way in California in Berkeley on the Bay, and I'm all the way over an entire nation away, the entire continent away in Boston, in the harbor, to the Bay, to the harbor. I like that. There's something really good about that. New England Comics has been it is the major chain of comic book shops in Massachusetts, where I live, where I've lived all my life. The first New England Comics I ever went to was the Quincy store. My grandparents moved from Dorchester to Quincy in the mid to late 1980s. So by 1986, I'm 13 years old, and when I spend weekends at my grandparents' place in Quincy, I would go to New England Comics in Quincy Center on the way there and load up on comic books and read comic books all weekend, and that was back when the old shop was at the Rotary. They've moved up the street to their permanent location where they're still at today. There was also New England Comics in Harvard Square, where I had my first pull list. There was also New England Comics in Allston. There was New England Comics in Malden, which was like a good store to go to as well, and which is pretty darn close to where I live now. And then there was New England Comics in Brookline at near Coolidge Corner, and they closed last week. Yeah, New England Comics closed their Harvard store a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago. And grand rising to you, Ansabaner. Good to see you. They closed their Allston store a couple of years, several years now. I mean, they're that was like a couple of years before lockdown. So, I mean, that was just the changing market and rents there and just losing, like, their lease. They moved like twice at the Alston store, maybe 3 times, and just, consolidated their inventory to one of the bigger stores. There used to be 7 of them, and now there are 4. Brockton, Norwood, but Malden and Quincy, they're still there too. Quincy, I believe, is their mothership store. New England Comics is closing its Coolidge Corner store. The last day open is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. That was 4 days ago to this broadcast. And if I only knew, I would have gone just to take that video and be like, this is one of the comic book shops of my neighborhoods. And, and to mourn this. Unfortunately, this has become necessary due to rising costs and declining sales. They pull no punches right there. They say it right there. Their opening their opening sentence right here. We do express our thanks and appreciation to all of our customers who have shopped in this store since it opened in 1989. I don't get to Coolidge Corner much, but it's always nice to go to, I would always drop by NEC if I was in that neighborhood, 1989, 35 years. That store was there for 35 years. To all our existing Coolidge Corner subscribers, we can either switch your sub to one of our other locations or do mail order. Please discuss what you would like to do with our staff or call NEC's general manager at the Quincy store. As a bonus to any subscriber switching over, we will extend an extra 10% off sub purchases during the first month that you're set up at the new location. The bonus is in addition to what you've already qualified for. Remember, NEC has 4 other viable stores, none of which we plan to close, all ready and eager to serve your collecting needs. And Norwood and Brockton are, suburban, or, Quincy and Malden they're right next to Boston, adjacent to Boston, so, and also you can get to both of those locations using public transportation. The Norwood and the Brockton stores are remote. But yeah, unfortunately, this has become necessary due to rising costs and declining sales. So yeah, I mean, that happened. That is NEC, New England Comics. And they closed one of their shops. They did. Aw. God bless them, And but that's why it's important to go to our local comic book shops and spend money there. And also, I make a big point of this. Like, I get my supplies at my local comic book shop, my LCS. I get my bags, my boards, and my boxes there. And I agree to pay the retail markup. I could be getting a huge discount at, using the online supply chain and getting free delivery. And also, with a pull list, I know I get 10% off of supplies now too. So I could oh well, live and learn, as my ma says. And Bill the Kill said he's been a week in Brockton. Your only trip to Boston was staying there. Can't say I got back. I got it back. Can't say all got back. Yes. Hey, Dwayne Muth. How are you? Good to see you. And Juan says, okay, last post, I promise I saw the Iron Claw. The Von Erichs were such, exactly. I was a kid watching those wrestlers. But yeah, New England Comics closed another location. Man. Wow. It's a sign of the times. But please remember, these are independent bookstores. They really are. And we can help them with our patronage. Seriously. Thank you very much. God bless. And let's see. What did we get from our local comic book shop this week? Indeed. You smell April fresh. I like it. It's like you know, we should give you a bath more often. We got 9 floppies from my local comic book shop this week. I spent under $38 in U.S. American funds. And what did we get? We got Funnybooks, physical. What's in the bag? We gotta know. I got Takashi Ozaki's Star Wars Visions #1. This is really good. It's got this like Japanese samurai movie filter to Star Wars, which is great because Star Wars began as an homage to The Hidden Fortress, a samurai movie by Akira Kurosawa. And so it's been like taken out of Japan, put into the galaxy, and come back to Japan. This is really interesting. And the art in it, the line art in this is just so magnificent. You can just like pour into these pages. You can smoke a big doobie and just like sit there and look at the art, man, you know. And no, this is really good. I really enjoy this. So I picked it up. Yeah, I read it as part of my digital pirate chest. Yeah. And it's subtly colored. It seems that it's black and white, but it kind of is. So, but it's not really a black, white, and red. Like there's a subtle blue to that droid's eye. You see that? And but mostly, yeah, it is black and white, you know. And then the red of the lightsabers too. But yeah, so but it's not officially a black, white, and red book. And one of those are actually advertised on the back page. Darth Maul, black, white, and red. He's got a black, white, and red coming out. That could be interesting. I missed issue 2 of this, and I picked up on issue 3, James Bond, written by Garth Ennis. This is just really good stuff. And it's really good use of the character. It's ongoing, and there'll be more of this. Yeah. Look at these ads. Ooh. These are the ads of a Dynamite comic. They're all house ads. That's what we do here. We look at comic books. You know, a nice stock cover. I mean, we get the indicia on the inside cover and the credits. Interesting art by Rafael Labosco. And yeah, it's just good James Bond stories told by Garth Ennis, who he invented The Boys and did good Punisher books for a while. Yeah, what else did we get? We got Sandman presents Sandman Universe, John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, issue 3. So this is as close as we're ever going to get to original recipe John Constantine. So Biggs is a long ways away from the New 52 version, or even the version I think that's on, you know, being used in current Prime Earth Zero books. This has, you know, just some very on the nose stuff. It really does. And but not to its detriment. I mean, and it has Swamp Thing. And the art in it is okay. The art in it's just the This is a horror magazine, and it's supposed to be over the top. Like, this is supposed to be just classic Constantine. We got it. It's pretty good. I've been it's getting me entertained. I got Superman issue 12 of this is 12 of 12. So this has been a year-long story by Joshua Williamson. I need to go back and get a couple of these issues. I got issue 1. I'm pretty sure I didn't pick up on 2, 3, and 4, maybe even 5, the one shot and the annual, but I got the rest of them. And it's fun. And this is a fun Superman story. It's not complicated. I mean, it just works. And I really liked it. Yeah. And I mean, the art switches up a lot too, but you know, hey, just it is what it is, yo. You know, I got this Dawn Runner #1 by REV and Evan Cagle, and this is like just it's a lot like Pacific Rim, or you know, have you been reading Inglorious Rex by Shane Davis and Yanzi Lin at 9 Lives Comics? That's some crowdfunding stuff, where it's about piloted, you know, human pilot kaiju fighting armor or be some kind of thing, and but yeah, so there's definitely giant kaiju and pilots who pilot the armors, and it's just part 1. It's written for the trade. This is going to be, but the art in it's just really good. And I got nothing to say about, like, you know, because it starts off with, like, you know, with the girl pilot, you know, kind of girl bossy in a way. What was that? Oh, sorry. Haha, there we go. And but by the end of it, it's just who is who and what is what. Don't want to spoil it for you. But oh, no way. Was it in crappy condition? Did it have spine roll and corners? I picked this up because it's $2.99, and I've been looking forward to picking up an issue of Spawn, and here it is. I got Spawn 351, and it's $2.99. And let's look at it. What kind of ads do we got? We got an ad for Spawn 352. We've got the credits in the indicia on the inside of the cover. You got some Todd toys for Diablo 4. Todd McFarlane makes action figures, really good action figures. And there's another image title there. Spawn Universe titles, which he sells for $2.99. You know, letters page. That's cool. And then basically 20 pages of story and art with no ads. It's just Brett Booth art with inks by Daniel Henriquez, who is just doing the inks with Frank Miller and Philip Tan on Ronin Book 2 over at Frank Miller Presents. Fabulous art in this. This guy's got talent. And lettering by Tom Orzechowski, who lettered like every single Marvel book I read as a kid. Like all those Uncanny X-Men, all the New Mutants. I mean, there's just a certain style to Tom Orzechowski's lettering. I love lettering. And I love that, and especially like when it's old school and hand drawn. So, I mean, like this is it's really over the top stuff. But I mean, it's just you know, this is solid. And it's what happened too is at 350. Of course, it was a status quo change. It was a special double-sized issue, that kind of stuff. So there's a new status quo, and so it's a jump-on spot. and it was just really easy to get into. It catches you up really quick, and I had fun reading this. It was an easy read, and I mean that as a compliment. So yeah, this might be my pick of the week, Spawn 351. I've never been a big Spawn fan. I remember going to see the John Leguizamo, John Michael White movie when it came out in the early 90s. Oh, God, that movie was trash. I mean, we got suckered in by a great-looking trailer. We did, especially with John Leguizamo playing clown. That had so much wasted potential. But the HBO cartoon, that was pretty good. That was, But yeah, Spawn 351, that was really, really good. And the end of the pack, the end of the stack. We've got Cobra Commander number 3 and of 5 by Joshua Williamson. This was so good. You can you can hear the voice of Cobra Commander. You know what I mean? He's got a distinct voice. Who was the voice of Cobra Commander? I forget. He was also the voice of Starscream over on Transformers. So they're the same voice actor, Cobra Commander voice actor. You know what I mean? Is it Christopher Collins? Christopher Collins was he was best known as his voice for Cobra Commander and Starscream, and he passed away in 1994 at the age of 44 years old. Oh, didn't know that. Oh, rest in peace, dude. So I can hear Christopher Collins' voice in every, word balloon. Seriously. Same here for for A Real American Hero. This is a really good story. I mean, this was fun. It's yes, because Larry Hama is still writing it after 40 years. And it has that narrative feel of all the old G.I. Joes I grew up reading. I like it. And it's a kind of a simple story. It just fills in details. And it's just, it does the job. And the art's pretty solid. And Chris Mooneyham, Paul Pelletier is taking over for him soon. But I'll stick on with this book. This is really good. And I love it how, it looks toyetic. It keeps very simple. It keeps to a, we got Zartan in here. He looks just like my action figure where I had the, he had the face plate and he went green in the sunlight. And, or was it sunlight, or was it when the water changed temperature or something like that? And the swamp skier. But this issue of Cobra Commander was really fun. Really good reveal. I had a feeling Cobra Commander's protector was this certain somebody from Cobra La, and I was right. So it's nice to have simple payoffs just pay off. And Negatron, is that you? Starscream, a coronation. This is bad comedy. Here's a hint. I am glad that Ham is back on G.I. Joe. I would love to see Larry Hama get back on Wolverine, with art by Greg Capullo. You know what I mean? That would be awesome. But yeah, so those are. I'll show you this much though. I mean, here's a critique. I mean, here's Cobra Commander. See that? Wearing a GIMP mask. Now, this has got to be some kind of substitute for the hooded Cobra Commander. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You want to make the association to hoods, to basically clan members who wear pointy hoods that are white, not rounded top hoods? I mean, all hoods are clan? Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, I'm not going to agree to that. I'm not going to buy that. That's just putting way too much power into something simple and you know what I mean? Just enough. this I mean, seriously, the GIMP mask, that's completely cringe. I think I hate this look. All right. But you know what I mean? Why not have Cobra in his traditional hooded look? Well, it's triggering for some communities. Is it? Or is it really? Or is it just some smarmy presentism? I don't know. Thank you. Exactly. What the hell are they thinking? Oh, boy. Yeah. And those are all of our comic books this week. Anything out there in TV, anything out there that you'd like to talk about, let me know in the chat while we're still on before we wrap up the show. And if not, then we'll call it a day. And I'm going to make some steak. I got a sear a steak, and I'm going to eat it with barbecue sauce. I'm going to sear a steak in a cast iron pan and get some like really nice crust to it. Just carbon. My mouth is watering. And but yeah, I mean, well, it's good to see everyone out there. What comic books are you picking up? What comic books are you putting down? Well, let us know in the comments section and everything. It's just it's a ribeye. I got actually a ribeye roast, and it was a 3.5 pound roast, and I cut it into 3 1 pound steaks, and it's got a really nice fat cap to it as well. Stand by. It's got a really nice fat back to it as well. What is all those sounds? What is he doing in there? Is he siphoning gasoline from the neighbors' cars in order to, get a ride to work? No, it's 420. I mean, isn't like you got to keep some stuff off camera and stuff? I don't want to get I don't want to get canceled or something. They do have a good beefy flavor. Yes, indeed. So I'm like, oh, should I make some rice? Should I heat up some corn tortillas and make some, tacos or something? I could do that. And yeah, I'm going to be eating steak. I had a steak last night. I'll have a steak tonight. That's good. And then I go back to work, and then it's the work week, and I'm a chef. So I have supper before I leave. So that's which is nice. It helps with the bills. Well, cool. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream then because, unless there's any... Jay, you cut it out. Stop trying to moon everybody. Behave. I know you're all April fresh. Just got your spring cleaning. And, you didn't get any comics, but you did get a crowdfunded book by Dean Cain All-American by Gabe El Taib. I hope you like it. I backed crowdfunded 3 comics this week on Indiegogo. Death Raider by Rob Hunter. I've been on the fence about that, and I just finally just went with it because I really like the line art. I want to support an artist. I like to crowdfund these books. I like to help be part. It makes me feel like I'm a patron of the arts, a real patron. The art is great and the story is okay. Good to know. Yeah, I backed a second printing of Super Dead #1 by Stuntman Comics, Mandy Summers, and art by Phil Gilmore. I missed out on the first one, and but I did get the second one with a holofoil Dale Keown variant because I'm a sucker for Dale Keown art. So I was like, oh, let me see if they got they have a new issue #1, a second printing. So I picked it up. And I also picked up on Graham Nolan's Compass Comics Compass Comics by Graham Nolan is closing his campaign for Return to Monster Island. And it just looks good. And I like Graham Nolan's art and his storytelling. So, and I'll back him. And he had a challenge coin too. So I got that too. And that's really, really cool. And yeah, that's it. I did a little crowdfunding this week too. And but we will return again on Wednesday on new release day at 4 p.m. in our pre-recorded show. We will also we'll talk a bit on Wednesday about, Eric July and Ethan Van Sciver and Friday Night Tights, and just the whole big to-do with that corner of being a fan. I mean, seriously, my big thing is my ability to unwind and to enjoy myself and to have fun. This is supposed to be a fun hobby, and all the infighting and the outrage and now the tribalization. I call it the balkanization of the fellowship. Exactly. I stay out of the drama, and I just want to support who I want to support, and watch the shows I want to watch. But also, I also need to be able to unwind, to relax after a long day's work, a long week's work. I don't want to get wound up with other people's dirty laundry and this and that and the other thing. I mean, I watch a lot of Bob Ross and a lot of Mystery Science Theater 3000. I love, especially old episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Oh gosh, I tried watching one with the lady, and there's just too many. They change. It's just like it was like watching The View. I'm sorry. No, give me Joel or Mike any day. I mean, geez, sorry. The older, the better. They said some inappropriate. They got a lot of inappropriate stuff too, and riff tracks were pretty funny. And also, they do Cinematic Titanic, which is a live show. There's like 7 or 8 of them too, like Mary Jo Pehl, like Trace Bellew, Frank Conniff, a bunch of them, and just like they do a live show. It's really good. It's on YouTube. It's their Mystery Science Theater 3000 has their own channel, and they have like an endless live loop going on just of old episodes and of the Cinematic Titanic and the riff tracks too. So it's like that's a great place for me to go, instead of like tuning into some of my favorite YouTube creators that I've been sticking with for years. And just everything is just so dramatic lately. And I mean, but yeah. And so well, Pikachu thanks you all. It's been he got his bath today, so he's April fresh. That's right. You smell really nice, kid. And that's about it. So this is the week in comics. We've reviewed all the comics and we've showed what's in the bag. And now it's time to make some Sunday dinner and put the week to bed. Thank you so very much. Thank you for coming aboard. Thank you for showing up and being part of this and enjoying this ongoing comic book shop style conversation and trying to keep it positive. Sure, there's room to get angry. There's room for feedback. There's room for criticism. Sure. But I mean, it doesn't always, I need the space and I need the place and I need the show in order to wind down and to actually enjoy some stuff, and not to get all, wound up all the time. And, well, they get clicks and they get super chats and they get t-shirt sales and they get lots of people showing up for that show. But you know what? This is a hobby about our hobby. And we like to we have a very nice crowd that show up to these shows. And thank you. I mean, this going comic book shop style conversation that we've had for a couple of years now. I'm so proud of us. Thank you so much. If you could check out some of the community posts too, I've shared one of my oldest videos from April of 2020 when lockdown just started and I was on furlough from work. So, you know, that's when I seriously started making YouTube content. And yeah, and you can also check out the old comic book shop, the old comic book shows too. Everything is in their own playlist. And that's about it. So thank you so very much. Tune in tomorrow. Tune in for the MGTOW morning show, Incel Cast. It's going to be called Pimpcast any minute now. But it's the MGTOW morning show, men going their own way. It's clickbait to get you to maybe get turned on to using a gratitude list, which really, really, really helped me. And I just want to pay that forward. And I will use clickbait to try to like, push my agenda and my platform and my messages. Exactly. Pimpcast. So when Incelcast runs its natural life and been run into the ground, it will rise from the ashes, known as Pimpcast. We shall keep up, Pimp and Strong. That's right. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again in those funny pages. Thank you so much. Ciao. Bye-bye.